Good afternoon, this is Jeff with Sewer Tech Northwest. We're at 5595 Southwest 150th Court here in Beaverton. I describe everything as if you're in the street facing the front of the house. Sorry, I got a dang leaf blower going on in the background here. Anyway, to the right of the front door, we've got a 3-inch ABS clean out. This will be our point of access. We're going to check the overall condition and serviceability of the sewer line. Water's running, we are zeroed out, and off we go here. Now, whoever's been living here has done a really nice job at keeping the line clean. No grease buildup to speak of really anywhere. Just swapped over to 4-inch PVC pipe. My camera is upside down right now if you're wondering why the water's flying through the air. That is not an optical illusion. We're going to come back and revisit this spot here on the way out. Entirely sure what's going on there. It's something hanging from the top of the pipe. And then right here is where we hit the main. We tie right into a manhole. We're going to go locate that really quick while the pipe drains off. And we'll pull back in and take a better look at things. Alrighty, located the camera head successfully. There's a manhole just to the right of the driveway, where the driveway connects to the street. Line ties right into that. And based on that locate, it looks like it crosses the curb. I mean, basically 90 degrees of the curb straight into the thing. So, there's this joint back here. It's a little bit suspect. I honestly cannot figure out what's going on with this or what's hanging from the top of it. The joint there looks a little bit beat up. I'm actually a little suspect there may be a root intrusion. I don't know if the line's ever been cleaned out. It's just I've cambered almost 25,000 sewer lines, thousands and thousands of roots. This joint here is just a little puzzling, the way that it appears. And what's hanging from the top of the pipe right now is kind of a little bit of an unknown. It almost has the appearance like something happened there in the past. Roots theoretically could have been cut out of it, and what's left behind is a joint that's a little bit beat up. I just can't figure out what's hanging from the top of that. It's just odd looking. From a flow standpoint, line functions beautifully through this area here. Good flow. And right now I'm looking at kind of the right side of the screen, about where that little dangly item stops, just to the right of it there. The joint looks like it's somewhat pulled apart. This is kind of a tough one. I can't really tell you what's happened here or whether or not the joint is intact. It has the appearance like it got dinged up by something, but I can't tell if it's something that's actively happening or something that happened in the past, and this is just what we have here. You could always start with a hydrojet to clean this area up so there's zero buildup on the sidewalls. Not that this line has a lot of buildup in it anyway. It's actually quite a clean sewer line for the most part. There's just an odd appearance here. That joint's got kind of a rippled look on the left side. Kind of near the bottom left-hand corner of the screen, you can see how the pipe joint there is kind of a rippled shape. And that's what makes me think something like a root intrusion could have happened here, which would, you know, potentially deform the plastic. Aside from that, it's very hard to discern what is actually happening in this location. So, I mean, from a flow standpoint, nothing here is being affected flow-wise. I guess my concern is that, you know, could there be something like a root intrusion that's typically here, and maybe it's been cut and cleaned out of the line for the purpose of the sale, or just simply for maintenance reasons. Some people know they have roots and they clean the line periodically. But it almost looks like a little bit of rubber fernco's exposed on the right side there, but there's just enough of a gunk layer. It's hard to tell what is going on there. So right now, without seeing obvious roots punching through, the stuff that's dangling from the top of the pipe there does not appear to be, at least as far as I can tell, roots, unless it's got stuff that's caked over the top of them. A Hydrojet, if it goes through there and removes that stuff, it may give you a little better look as to what's happening. You know, but flow-wise, nothing's taking place here. There are a couple little stringy, strandy items there on the right side. They are so tiny, though. Right now, it's difficult to discern whether they're just a couple little cobwebs, which are very common in sewer lines, especially near a manhole, where the easiest place for bugs to get into the line. You'll often see much thicker cobwebs once you approach a main lateral, but especially a manhole. So this is kind of an oddity. There's a little bit of a question mark there as to what's actually happening. I guess my worry is we're not seeing the entire story right now, but it's very hard to say. I'm going to at least locate this really quick. About the only thing I can say right now would be to maybe clean this line, jet it, take a second look at it to see if that uncovers anything, gives us a better view of what's going on here. You know, and it's possible it could be a joint that wasn't put together super great, got a little bit dinged up in the process. That doesn't necessarily mean the joint is open to the ground or anything of the sort. It's just an odd appearance. I mean, some of the plastic there almost looks like it got melted. I don't really know what to make of that. Not a lot of things puzzle me at this point in my career. That one's just kind of odd looking. All right, for whatever reason, I'm getting some very odd locates here. My location seems to be quite accurate. The depths I'm getting are jumping all over the place, though. I'm getting shallow depths, like around 4.5 feet deep. I'm also getting below 15 feet, so there feels like there's some kind of interference. Where I'm picking this up is very near the big tree at the very front right corner of the driveway. The line appears to go just past, as you face the house from the street. The line appears to go just to the right of that tree. And if you go out the road there, you'll see a little curb port for the storm system. Little ABS pipes that with an opening at the curb, face the curb, that empties out onto the road. Based on my locates, it looks like the line is going to go just barely to the right of that. And I'm picking this up approximately in the middle of the sidewalk, very near that tree. So it's all those things put together that make me think there could be some action that's happened in the past there from that tree. The way that pipe joint looks deformed, you can get that appearance if a root comes through the line and sits that way for a long time. If plastic gets you know, bent and pushed on for long enough, it deforms and takes a different shape. Right now, it's very difficult to discern what exactly is happening there. I'm a little suspicious. There could be, you know, could have been a root intrusion there at some point in time. May still very well be one. It just may not have grown back. It's very hard to tell. It's all those things put together. The way the joints kind of deformed and beat up, in combination with the proximity to that tree, that's what makes me think that there could have been a root intrusion there in the past. The line is also very clean, although there is some level of debris buildup in it. It's very minor. This is exactly how you want your sewer line to look right here, honestly. But it's clean enough that, you know, it's feasible. There could have been, you know, some kind of maintenance that was done on that in the not too distant past. So anyway, we're gonna go backwards here, but because of the locates I'm getting, I'm not going to put a marking down there. I'm just going to describe that. That's one that would need to be relocated with a different system, one that you can hone in on a particular frequency a little better. You can get underground utilities like power and things of that nature that can throw the locate off. Anyway, a little bit of a question mark there, and right now, you know, unless you can get some kind of answer from someone as to if anything occurred there in the past, the seller may know about. You know, best bet right now would be to, you know, maybe do something like a Hydrojet to get that joint all cleaned up so there's no debris over the top of it at all. Again, not that there's a lot. There's just enough there that could be obscuring your view of something. There's a couple little stringy things that could be very small roots. They could also be cobwebs. There's just so little there right now that it's hard to make a call on that either direction. So, you know, as it relates to just purely flow, we have good flow all the way out to the main lateral connection. Aside from a question mark there at about 38 feet, the rest of the line here looks like it's in good condition, intact, has good flow, and overall line is functioning properly at this time. But that is something that I would certainly, if you know, if nothing is corrected or fixed, and I'm not saying it necessarily needs that right now, there's just not a lot to go off of. I would certainly rescope that in time. I would, you know, I would get about a year down the road, take a second look at it, because if there is a recurring root intrusion there, it's something you're going to potentially have to stay on top of and do either maintenance cleaning on, which is the less ideal option. Repairs are a more permanent fix. Right now, I'm just unsure if it actually needs it. So what I'm going to say is that there's a, you know, possible root intrusion. Obviously, we're not seeing much in the way of roots right now. That, again, I've been doing this a long time. Would not be the first time I've seen, you know, roots get cut back prior to a sale, and or just due to regular maintenance. Some people do that on a you know, regular basis to keep things at bay, you know, and have something return a year later after the house has been lived in for a little bit and nothing's been kept up with. So, anyway. Aside from that area, rest of the line here is looking good. Great flow to the main. Line is functioning properly at this time. Nothing about this line right now would be causing blockages. I'm just concerned what that joint may turn into in time.